So hey, what's up guys? So today I'm gonna talk about a beginner's guide to trend lines, so that in the next video when I show you how to draw your trend lines, you have all the basics down. So we're gonna talk about that today, coming up next. Okay, so first thing first, what are trend lines? Basically, it's just straight lines that you draw at the chart higher highs and also lower lows of a chart. What do I mean by higher highs and lower lows? Let me give you an example, okay? So the first thing first, when you go to your MT4, you already have your trend line tool for you. Where is it? You just need to go up to here and you can see that it says draw trend line. Alright, so click on this. Then if you want to draw it, you just click on the point that you want to start drawing at and then just drag. Okay, just drag and then you draw the best fit line. I'll talk more about this specifically. How do you determine where to place your trend line, how to draw your trend line. Okay, don't worry about that, but right now I just want you to know that in this case you're drawing it at the higher lows. Okay, higher lows. If you draw it in this way, which some people do if they trade reversals, mean reversion, you're drawing your trend line at the higher high. You see? You get an idea, you know, where to place your trend line the more times the price tests that level. Okay? So you got a nice channel here. Do you realize that? If you still don't know what the channel is, don't worry, I'll do a video about that too. And if you, on the other hand, draw a trend line from the top, drag it all the way to the bottom, just like that. Okay, this is just an example. You're drawing a trend line at lower highs. Okay, so when it comes to lower lows, example like this, you see price test one time, second time, and a couple of times here. Okay, so you do realize that your trend lines is very similar to your horizontal support and resistance. So now instead of a horizontal line, you have a sloped support and resistance line. Now here's the thing, when it comes to drawing trend lines, when do you know whether you should draw higher lows or lower highs? Now for me, because I like to trade along with the trend, I would draw trend lines for lower highs in a bearish trend. Okay, just like this one. But when it comes to a bullish trend, I will draw my trend line on higher lows, which is this line. Okay, I don't trade against the trend. If I do draw higher highs, like this line over here, I will draw it if I want to trade breakouts. Okay, because I know that some people, they draw higher high trend lines because they want to trade this retracement. Okay, so some of the uses of trend lines that you need to know. The first one is that it helps you determine the direction of the trend. So the direction of the trend tells you the sentiment of the market. In a way, it doesn't tell you directly, but it gives you an idea. So you see the trend line sloping upwards. It tells you that traders are expecting that the euro is going to fare better than dollar, meaning the base currency is going to fare better than the counter currency, or they're going to expect that the dollar is going to perform worse as compared to euro. So another function of trend line is that it gives you an idea of the market momentum and also the speed of the trend. So the price can either test the trend line or it can make a breakout. Alright, but make sure, very important, don't trade into fake breakouts, because when it comes to breakout trading, you need to identify zones. Because you know what, if you know to spot zones, you know that these small piercings here are false breakouts. You know what I'm saying? When the price breaks a trend line, a very strong trend line, it can mean a lot of things, but to sum it up, three things. Number one, the trend will change. Okay, let me just write it down for you, since some people like spoon feeding so much. The trend will change. Okay, so in this case, it went from a bullish one and then it goes to a bearish trend. Alright, so if you bought somewhere here, when the price broke this trend line, you wanna get out. Take your profits, get out. Or another option, when the price broke trend line, it can mean that the momentum of the markets has changed. So you can't assume that when the price breaks a bullish trend line, then you can make a sell assuming that a bearish trend will come. So for example, okay, you see price broke this trend line, okay, it retraces a little bit. Yes, it went on a short bearish run before it went back bullish, because most people is gonna expect, oh, if it breaks the bullish trend line, then it's gonna go on a long bearish trend, then I can ride the whole entire trend. When in fact, this is only a short retracement of a major bullish trend. Because if you are trading at this point, you wouldn't know what's going to happen. You're just going to assume that price is going to go all the way down to 1.09030. Let's say when you're making a buy, you only make a sell when the price has confirmed that it is going on a downtrend. You know what I'm saying? Because you need to understand that markets don't move in a straight line. It has temporary retracements. So if you get tricked into selling on this retracement, thinking that the price is going to go all the way down, you're going to get stopped out a lot. Remember, when you trade, if you've watched my past videos, trade with confirmation. So of course, the third reason for price breakout of the trend line is when the price has lost momentum. Okay? And this case is about the same underlying reason as when the trend will change. And by now you already know that your trend line acts as a support and resistance, a sloped support and resistance level. So when it comes to a trend line, you also can use it to point out where would the price reverse. Okay, now when it comes to drawing trend lines, you need to know how to draw it. Common sense, right? But the problem with a lot of beginner traders is that they draw way too many trend lines, and then end up your whole entire chart become cluttered with lines. End up you can't even see the price to begin with. How do you trade? So you need to identify which are the more important trend lines. Now trend line consists of two types. First one, major trend lines. Second one, minor trend lines. This is where a lot of beginners screw it up. They just draw way too many minor trend lines that is not even significant. The more significant, more important trend lines are the long-term trend lines. The minor trend lines, the trend lines that last for a couple of days, couple of hours, would be less significant as compared to a trend line that lasted for days. Give you an example from just now. Okay? Same example again. This trend line, you see, it lasted for days. Okay? In fact, a whole entire week. In fact, more than 1 week. So if you go and draw way too many minor and mini trend lines, you know, you feel that, oh, price test this level, price test this level, I need to draw it there too. Price test this level, I need to draw it there too. Do you see what's happening right now? Do you see, like what's this? Do you think this is Spider-Man? I don't know where to even look at. And this is a mistake that I made when I first started out too. Okay, I just draw way too many insignificant trend lines because I wanna, you know, trade minor breakouts. You know, like this breakout, I wanna trade, you know, this breakout downwards too. And then the problem is way too many people, they go down to 5-minute time frame, 1-minute time frame to draw all these lines. When it comes to my trading channel, I always emphasize this one thing again and again to you: the principles that you need to know. Because if your principles are not taken care of, your trading will be screwed up. I always say that keep it as simple as possible. This is one example. Does this look simple to you when you can't even see the freaking price? And another principle that I talk about in my channel a lot of times is it is better to take one good quality trade than many small mediocre trades. It is better to take one 200 points trade than 200 trades at 1 point. So that is why personally I do prefer the long-term trend line and also the medium-term trend line. When you become more experienced, you will start to respect the longer term things, the longer term trend lines. But of course, I'm not generalizing. With that said, there are people who are good at using really short term minor trend lines. At which time frame should you use trend lines? The smallest time frame you can go to 15 minutes, okay? If you go lower than that, it's going to give you a lot of false signals. And the highest you can go to daily time frame, because if you go longer than that, it wouldn't give you many trading signals. And by the time you really see a trading signal, some of the past levels in which the price tests that trend line has very likely been already outdated. If you go anything lower than 15 minutes, way too many false signals. Go anything higher than daily time frame, way too few signals, and also you get outdated signals. So if you want a good balance between signals that are on time and not too many false signals, then choose in between 15-minute and daily time frame. Now here's the thing. If I go to 1-minute chart, you'll see a major uptrend over here, correct? But if you switch to H1 time frame, I can't even see the trend line, you see? It's just become a minor trend line. Like if you go to H1 time frame, this isn't even qualified as a good trend line. So if you keep on drawing all your trend lines in really small time frames, it will look something like this. Oh, this becomes a trend line, this also becomes a trend line, and then this also becomes a trend line. So this also becomes a trend line. Okay, let me just draw it nicely. You know what I'm saying? You see, just by doing this, how cluttered it is. It's better to just pick the major trend. Okay? You're gonna get so many false signals with these minor trend lines. And also it takes you a lot of work. Like, life is so much more in trading, right? You don't want to spend the whole entire day drawing lines. Right now is 17th February. So if price breaks above this trend line over here, okay, it might go on a bullish run. Let me know down in the comment section below what is one thing you have learned from this lecture. If you have learned nothing, if you have nothing nice to say, do me a favor, just move on with your life, okay? But before you go, may I invite you to an upcoming conference that I'll be speaking at on 2nd of March. This is the day I'll be speaking at, and also the day I turn 1 year older. So I'll be speaking alongside these few speakers. COLLIN, who is a friend of mine. I also did an interview with COLLIN. In this YouTube channel, I'll put the link down in the description below so you can check it out. And also alongside Joe DiNapoli, who's the godfather of Fibonacci. And also Kaden will be speaking too, okay? So on this conference, I'll be sharing with you about secrets to make money from the forex markets. I've never shared this before in any of my YouTube videos, in any of my past seminars. And the best part is, this conference is free. So why not? But there's limited seats. So do grab your seats fast if you want to. And you can do a bit of reading on my profile here. Okay? And yeah, all you need to do is just click on register and then key in your name, email, mobile. And hopefully I can meet you in person. Because the thing is, what I see on my YouTube channel is just numbers. I oftentimes forget that behind those numbers is a real human being. It's you. It's you. If you want to register, I'll put links down in the description below too, so you can go check it out. So with that, I hope this lecture has been useful for you, and also hope to see you in the conference. So with that, I'll talk to you in the next episode. Bye.